Hey guys, it's Mr. Regan. Today we're going to look at properties of exponents, part 2. We looked at properties involving multiplication. Today we will be looking at properties involving division. So we'll start off with the quotient of powers property. All right, we think back to the properties of multiplication. If I was multiplying and my base was the same, I added the exponents. Well, now I'm dividing and the bases are the same, they both are x. So instead of adding the exponents, I'm going to subtract them. So this one turns out to be x to the 20 minus 11 is 9th power. So very similar to multiplying, where I added the exponents. Now I'm going to subtract the exponents for division. Same thing here. Base stays the same, 2. Subtract the exponents, 10 minus 6 is 4. Now this is where you got to be careful with the directions. If the directions say, leave your answer with exponents, you leave it 2 to the 4th power. If it wants you to fully simplify, then you would do 2 to the 4th power, and you would get 16. So you just got to be careful whatever they're asking for. All right, so now we have the power of a quotient property. All right, so in this first problem, everything inside the parentheses is going to the 7th power. So just like yesterday, if it would have been like, let's say, x to the 1st raised to the 7th, I would multiply those two. Well, it's the same idea, except for instead of just having something in the numerator, I've got a numerator and denominator. So this x is going to the 7th power, but so is the y. So I get x to the 7th over y to the 7th. And that's it. That's as far as I can go. Can't simplify that anymore. So basically, everything inside the parentheses goes to the 7th power, whether it's in the numerator or denominator. Same thing here. The 1's going to go to the 5th power. The 2's going to go to the 5th power. Okay, if they want your answer with exponents, leave it as is. If they want you to simplify it fully, 1 to the 5th power is 1, 2 to the 5th power is 32, and we get 1 over 32. All right, now we're going to combine the multiplication properties and the quotient properties. So for this first problem, inside the parentheses I have a 1a squared over 4b. All that is being raised to the 3rd power. So all of this in here has to go to the 3rd power. The 1 and the a squared. So 1 to the 3rd power. A squared to the 3rd power. If I'm taking a power to another power, I multiply. 2 times 3 is 6. In the denominator, all of this is going to the 3rd power. So I get 4 to the 3rd power, and then b to the 3rd power. All right, so if your answer says just leave with exponents, leave it as is. If they want you to simplify a little bit more, 1 to the 3rd power is 1. So you can just write really a to the 6th, unless you want to put a 1 in front of the a. And then 4 to the 3rd power is 64. B to the 3rd power. All right, down here, this one's going to even be a little bit more complicated. We'll just look at this part first here. So 2 times x to the 4th over 3 times y to the 2nd. All of it's to the 2nd power. So let's deal with all this to the 2nd power first. 2 to the 2nd times x to the 4th to the 2nd. Multiply 4 and 2, x to the 8th. Over, now all of this down here, 3 to the 2nd. Y to the 2nd raised to the 2nd. 2 times 2 is 4. All right, now I'm just going to copy down this other part here. We haven't done anything with that yet. Y to the 7th, 5x squared. All right, so we use some quotient properties there. Now we are going to multiply across. And I'm also going to kind of simplify as we go. So 2 to the 2nd power is 4. Then we have x to the 8th, and then we have y to the 7th. So all that's in the numerator. Down in the denominator, 3 squared is 9. And then we have y to the 4th. And then x to the... Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot we had a 5 there. So let's do 9 times 5. Remember, the 9 comes from that 3 squared times 5. I get 45 over here. All right, so then we had the y to the 4th. And now we have an x squared, and I'm going to put the x squared first, just because I like to have it in alphabetical order, the x's and then the y's. All right, and now one more step. 4 over 45. If I just think of this simply as a fraction by itself, I would try and simplify it, but it is simplified. 4 over 45 stays that way. I have an x to the 8th now over an x squared, and we're going to subtract the exponents. 8 minus 2 is 6. Then we have a y to the 7th over y to the 4th. Once again, subtract y to the 3rd. And then that would be our final answer. So that's like a more complicated problem combining our quotient and our multiplication properties. All right, there you go. Remember, multiplying properties, when you're multiplying, the bases are the same. You're adding the exponents. When you're taking a power to another power, you're multiplying the exponents. And then when it's a division, you are dividing and the bases are the same. You're subtracting the exponents. All right, good luck, guys.